today we'll start off in just a little bit, but so the next one's going to be pediatric cervical curve correction, which is going to be awesome. And so during that webinar, we're going to be going to a review of pediatric cervical correction research, along with pediatric X-ray analysis and indications for pediatric tractioning. And if you look at these two, actually, I'm just going to change my screen here. If you guys look at these two X-rays, I was just talking to Pascal about them. These are X-rays that I took in 1998. Actually, the first one is 1998. And we were just talking with Pascal, just like how this is impacting, current reconstruction docs and correction docs. And I believe it's going to actually, people are going to go back to these talks for hopefully decades, because back in the 90s, we didn't have too much research. Actually, in 1998, when this first X-ray was taken, so just to let you know too, this is, at that time, this was my youngest. This is the X-ray of my youngest patient I've ever took. I mean, so this guy's name is Dawit, and he's 4 years old when I took this X-ray. And just to give you an idea, so spinal reconstruction was just because Don and Deed were, CBP was really starting to launch, and we were doing basically rolled up towel off the side of a bed with a whole kind of head harness, and you added weights to the back of you clipped on weights and you just went right over the bed. And that's how we would do the spinal to get the curves back. But, and I alluded to this one of the other episodes is, so Ruck, like Human Atlas, the Atlas of Human Subluxation, Ruck's book came out, I believe it was actually spring of 97. So this was 98. And Ruck's book really kind of blew our minds in terms of being able to see the spinal cord and the damage and, disc bulges and just the anatomy from the dissections, and really it just really put it together for me. So the research I had at this point, basically with pediatric reversals, was basically, if a reversal is bad in a 50-year-old and in a 70-year-old and a 30-year-old, it must be bad in a 4-year-old. And I wanted to see the spine, right? I could palpate, he was stiff, but I wanted to see the spine. Turns out to be a reversal. With Dawit, to give you an example, just to give you some background, Dawit came in, and his dad brought him in. His dad was a patient for a few weeks and was getting amazing results. And Dawit came in. He used to be, every 2 weeks he'd end up in CHI or emerge, and he'd actually have life-threatening asthma. So he'd go like super acute, massive, life-threatening episodes. So he'd go into emerge, and they'd pump him full of drugs and have him sleep in the oxygen tent for about 24 hours, and then he would get through his episode. And here again, do I have a problem with a drug that's needed in the moment to save this little kid's life? I don't have a problem with it, but the body's adapting. There's more drugs. It's happening more and more. It's getting worse and worse. So like I said, is like, hey, this is bad. This is a reversal. Maybe taking the pressure off the spinal cord here might actually help the asthma. Well, quit 12 months later, and doesn't even take a puffer at this point. Off all the puffers, the bronchodilators, off of everything, completely healed up.